I got to tell you on a personal note, this is going to be a really hard day for me. As a Mount Blue grad and a Farmington native, it's going to be hard for me to hear so many kind words about a Rumford boy today, but we're going to take it. Walt is a special guy, and one of the most special things to Walt is his family. So I want to recognize the Abbott clan in the first two rows here. If you guys could stand up and be recognized, we appreciate it. So those of you I haven't met, I'm Seth Woodcock, work in the administration here at the University of Athletics. I'm a graduate class of 1999, and today is indeed a special day. One of the best parts of my job is I get to travel around all over the country, sometimes the world, meet with Maine alums, hear Maine stories, and share great things about being a Black Bear. Three of the most common questions I get when I'm talking to people: does Pat's Pizza still taste the same? Where's the best place to park on game day? In fact, Scott Abbott asked me that 7 times this morning. And most importantly, hey, what's Walt Abbott up to? What's Walt Abbott up to? And I always enjoy answering that question, saying Walt's a good friend of mine and he's up to good things still. So, with his impact on so many, a few years ago, a few of us got together and said, we need to do something for Walt. And we thought about it. We're gonna raise a little money to support it. What would be the perfect fit for Walt Abbott? And that's a tough thing to really assess. Walt's done so many things for so many people here, not just student athletes, but students, members of the community, faculty, staff, administration. It's a tough task. So we raised over $500,000 to support this naming opportunity today. And Walt's humble. He did not want any part of this recognition. I've had a long few years and a lot of phone calls with Walt about this day and this naming opportunity. And the answer was a firm no, about 50 times. I got it to a soft no about 25 times later. And then after 100 times, it was still a no. But I told Walt, you've worked in athletics a long time. And one thing that's really simple about athletics is the team with the higher score wins the game. And we said yes 101 times. So you're out, Walt. We win. So we're here today to kick things off. We're going to officially announce, with presidential, board approval, athletic director approval, a new naming opportunity in perpetuity in honor of one of our all-time greats, Walt Abbott. In honor of Walt Abbott and his service to the University of Maine and UMaine athletics, we will be naming the new strength and conditioning area in Morse Arena the Walt Abbott Sports Performance Center. This will be a full-size strength and conditioning center for our student athletes to conduct strength training, something that was very personal to Walt, and he was very successful with in his professional career. In fact, cutting edge in many ways. This facility is scheduled to open along with all of Morse Arena, as you heard this week, right over there in the 27-28 basketball season. Nice. So, congratulations, Walt. One of the requests Walt had, once we got him to say yes, which is now officially done, Walt, was that this facility would be used for all of our student athletes. We built a full-size strength and conditioning area. This is a very important piece of the project for our student athletes. And we're gonna have athletes of all genders, all sports, working out in that facility to get better, stronger, faster, and healthier for their program. So thank you, Walt, for that commitment. I wanna introduce our athletic director, Jude Killey. Jude has been a fantastic leader for this department, has been very supportive of this effort, both professionally and personally, and I thank you a lot for that, Jude, personally. And he's really shaped our department with a lot of the same core values that were carried on by Walt Abbott. As we believe that the University of Maine Athletic Department is a special place. We wouldn't be here working if we didn't believe that. We want to continue those core values that have made this place special for all the years before us to make sure we're doing our part to carry on that long blue line of tradition and excellence and character and integrity here at the University of Maine. And you have our commitment on that, and I can guarantee you have our athletic director's commitment. You should be very proud to have him here. Happy to introduce Athletic Director Jude Killey.
Thanks, Seth. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. What an awesome, awesome day. There's never a bad day to be on campus, is there? First, I want to thank our donors who actually made this project possible, the many people who rallied to support Walt and to support the new facilities. So thank you very much. If you could raise your hand, I'd appreciate it. Come on, don't be shy. Raise your hand who supported this project. Thank you for doing that. Also, I want to express gratitude to Seth Woodcock, and this is not an exaggeration. I think I accepted the job, but this might have been the first topic that Seth talked to me about. And if it wasn't, it was certainly before I got on campus. So this is personal to him. He holds Walt in the highest regard, and when I got here, I realized that so many others do. So Seth, thank you for all your hard work, and congratulations on getting this done. For today, I do want to express gratitude to Will Bieberstein and also to Aaron Magnuson for all of their help in terms of the setup and getting everyone together. And of course, Monique Cashy, who's always running around. We've now dubbed her the magician. She makes all these things happen in crazy times. So again, appreciate all their efforts. And while I'm giving out thank yous, Walt, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for this university. It's okay to applaud. This naming opportunity is actually the perfect way to recognize Walt. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, it's physical toughness and development, but two, it's mental toughness and development. And if there's things that I've heard characterized as part of him and who he is, those are certainly two, is always getting better, always developing. And as Seth mentioned, the space is going to be about 6,000 square feet. Just to put this in perspective for you, between what we have in Laddie right now and downstairs here in hockey, we've got about 6,000 combined. So it's going to double our strength conditioning space. So really a place for all of our student athletes to develop and grow. So again, very, very symbolic. The other reason why this is important and perfectly fitting is, and Seth alluded to this a little bit before, our mission is to develop champions with integrity. And our core values are integrity, accountability, toughness, and excellence. Now, we came up with those a year and a half ago. The reality is that we just took the DNA of Walter Abbott and put that as our mission and our core values. It's really phenomenal. Yeah, thank you, John. It's really phenomenal that, a decade plus after his retirement, that we're modeling all those things that he always aspired the department to be. And the two things I will tell you about Walt specifically, as I've gotten to know this place. So one is just everybody reveres him. He's everyone's mentor. It doesn't matter who you talk to, who you ask, if you're a student athlete, a coach, whomever else is, if you know Walt, he was your mentor at some point. And the other component is his character. His character is unquestioned. And what a great example for all of us, whether you're an alum, whether you're from away, whether you're a student athlete, a coach now, what two great things to look up to with him. And we're just so appreciative to be able to honor him in this capacity, and so thankful that we could do it, so thankful that he's allowing us to do that. And so again, please enjoy the day, and congratulations, Walt, and thank you very much. It's our president here at the University of Maine and the University of Maine at Machias, as well as our Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation for the University of Maine system, Joan Fernie-Money.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What an incredibly happy and wonderful occasion. And Walt, I couldn't be more pleased than to be able to be here with you today. Thank you for allowing us to do this. Welcome to the Abbott family, to friends and others who are here with us together. I'd like to specifically recognize Senator Susan Collins, who is a friend of the family and who is here with us today. Thank you, Senator, for being here. Thank you, family. What a pleasure it is to celebrate someone whose name and spirit have been embodied in the fabric of this university, Walt Abbott. On behalf of the entire University of Maine community, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks to Walt for his extraordinary service to this university, to the state of Maine, and to people across this community. Through his leadership as a coach, an educator, and an administrator, he strengthened not only our athletics program, but our entire community. And I keep hearing stories today, and have really since I've been here, about people whose lives he has touched, where he's made a difference, certainly as a coach, as an administrator, and as a wonderful human being and friend. And we can't tell you, Walt, how much it means to this university. Thank you. Mentors like Walt are what makes UMaine such a special place. He led with humility, encouraged excellence, and believed deeply in the power of preparation and perseverance. And just as importantly, Walt was known for supporting all people, people of every background and experience, helping every student see what they were capable of achieving. That inclusivity and care and commitment have shaped generations of Black Bears and remain part of what defines our university today. Walt's impact continues through his family's remarkable connection to the University of Maine. His son Steve served as our athletic director. His granddaughter Hannah captained the field hockey team. I lost Hannah, there you go. And it's a wonderful reflection of the commitment and pride that run through the Abbott family. Beyond his leadership, Walt has been a steadfast donor and supporter, continuing to give back, to invest in our students, and to help ensure that UMaine's next generation has every opportunity to thrive. So today we're proud to honor that lifelong commitment by naming the new strength and conditioning space in Morse Arena the Walt Abbott Sports Performance Center. Again, fabulous, fabulous day for us. And I also spotted Phil Morse. We'd like to recognize you as well. Thank you so much. The naming is more than a recognition. It's a lasting tribute to Walt's values: hard work, mentorship, inclusion, and the belief that success comes from lifting others up. Walt, thank you for all that you have done and for all that you represent. Your legacy will continue to inspire our students, our coaches, our faculty, and our staff, our entire university for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Jude and President Fernie-Mundy, not only for your words, but for your great leadership. Many of you probably didn't know Walt was a huge fan of dance clubs. That's why we have the techno booming out there today. Special touch for you, Walt. As I mentioned, we went to work on this, and it wasn't the hardest development effort I've ever been a part of. In fact, it was like swatting flies away to see who wanted to support Walt Abbott. So I wanted to point out the folks that helped us raise the $500,000 to support this naming opportunity. And I would be a poor development professional, and the president would not be happy with me if I didn't mention those opportunities are still available for this project. Gene and Ellen Benner, you can hold your applause till the end. Dennis and Wendy Carey, Dennis and Pat Doyle, Joe and Jill Doyle, Dan and Lisa Maloney, Mike and Jesse DeVito, Richard and Maureen Todd, Tom and Jane Warren, Jeff and Ruth Wood. So how about a round of applause for their families? Every summer, the Tangerine Bowl team gets together for a reunion. It's one of my favorite events to attend down in Sebago Lake. It also happens to be close to my house, so it makes it one of my favorite events to attend. And it's amazing. It's really incredible. It's special. I think Jude can attest. He's been down to see teammates get together every year that all put the we above the me in a day and age when I think the me sneaks in a little bit too much sometimes. Just always reminds me how special athletics can be and how unique and special it is to be a part of a team. Walt's a huge piece of that, and a lot of those folks are from that team, so I wanted to note that. So Coach Stevens called early in the week. He can't be here today. Obviously, he's got to coach football, but we've got a little banged up, so he said, Seth, if you could get a couple of speakers that we could slide into the game today, I need a wide receiver and a running back. So I picked two of our all-time greats, hoping they can help us out a couple times today. I want to introduce Gene Benner. Those that don't know Gene, he's class of 1970, one of our all-time great wide receivers at UMaine. And I can tell you, after getting to know Gene a little bit, and with a guy who's come right out of the bloodline of Walt Abbott here, as Maine Black Bear, one of the greatest people you'll ever meet. I know he's a close friend of Walt's, and he's looking forward to saying a few words today. Gene Benner.
Maybe I'm the tallest one so far. Walter's not here yet. Wow, it's finally here. I was talking to Dan Maloney, a fellow EL graduate, and it must be in our genes, but this has been the longest 5 years of my life. and I kept hounding Seth. I would say, my goodness, what's taking so long? I mean, it's been 6 months already. And anyway, we're here, and I couldn't be more thrilled. I would like to thank Seth and Jude for their leadership and hard work to put this all together. I would also like to thank President Farini Mundy for her support and her blessing for this event. It's just amazing. It's turned out, what a crowd. And I'm terribly humbled to be up here looking out and seeing all the former Black Bears, all you've accomplished throughout the state and the country. So it certainly is a big pleasure to be here. I want to thank Walter for putting up with a tremendous amount of browbeating. We had the Tangerine Bowl beating on him. John Wolfgram and I took him to lunch, and it was still a big no. And I was working with Seth, and what are we going to do? And finally, I think it was like last week, he said, Walt's really excited. My wife Ellen said, yeah. So just a couple of words about what Walt's meant, and I don't mean just me, because I know that it's the same for all of you that played for him or were in his class. I think being a father figure when you're 17 years old is huge. And I tried to think back, what are the major things that I take away from my time with Walt that helped me survive and prosper, I think, as a husband and a parent and a teacher and a business owner and a community member. And it comes down to three things. And the first thing was evident, and I think you'll all agree if you know Walter, was just mental toughness. There's no give up in Walter, and there's no give up if you're hanging around Walter. And luckily, I never made it into a canoe with him, because he may have had a different opinion of me. Two other qualities that I took with me were commitment and character. Those two words say it all. And I've thought about it over my entire 60 years since I met Walter. That makes me kind of old, as you can see. And I don't know how many times I have, when you meet a little fork in the road or a little dust up or a little situation that isn't very comfortable, what would I do? I would say, what would Walter do? And so often it pulled me through those sticky times in life. So thank you, Walter. Thank you very much. One more little anecdote that I think you'll appreciate. It sort of emphasizes the wide reach of Walter's qualities and who he is as a person. It was just about 5 years ago when Seth called Ellen and I on the phone. We must have been waiting for the call because I had the phone on speaker. And he said, we've got it, we've got permission, we need to raise X amount of money, which I guess I could say now, but I'm not. And it's a go, and I said, yeah. And he said, what we need is some people to get on board, some pledges, some money. And I said, we're in. Can you give us 10 minutes? And he said, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. So I had hardly got my finger off the end button on the cell phone when Ellen looked at me and said, so what's your number? And I said, you probably didn't think I was thinking about a number, but I have been. So here's my number. And she said to me, I'm thinking about doubling it. You know, Walter meant just as much to us gals. We loved him just as much as any of you guys ever did. That says it all. I don't know what I ever did to earn the luxury of being up here and speaking to all of you folks. Just an old wide receiver who ran lousy routes, and when I wasn't running a pass pattern, I was running a future pass pattern. Walter protected me, I didn't have to block. So I was going to mention physical toughness with the mental toughness, but I think I did a little better job with the mental toughness than I did the physical toughness. Thank you, Walter, and thank you all very much.
Thanks, Seth. Walt, first of all, I want to say congratulations on this honor. It's well deserved. Your loyalty to this university is unmatched. So enjoy this day with friends and most of all, your family. There's no more deserving person than you for this dedication. It was people like you that made my decision to become a black bear well worth it. The kindness that you have shown me and my family is very appreciated. You always ask how my boys are doing and would spend time spending time with my wife talking field hockey. You don't know how much that means to her. My grandfather always told me, surround myself with great people. I believe you're one of those people. You have had many titles here at this university. The most important has been mentor. You have impacted a lot of us here as athletes, students, and most of all, taken us inner city kids out in the woods. You have taught us a lot of things when we're out there, especially about life, especially my life. I take a lot of characteristics that you have given us and put into my life and hopefully into my boys. I want to thank you for that. I really do. I do have a short story to tell you. When you was doing the games with Bruce Glazier, you always called me Carl Lewis. I would send the tapes home to my dad so we can see the games. He would ask, who is this guy that keeps calling you Carl Lewis? I said, that is Walt Abbott. He's a big deal around here. My dad would say, you should get your name right. I said, Dad, have you ever seen a moose? And his answer was no. And I said, well, I have. And the rumor is Walt has wrestled one. So if he wants to call me Carl Lewis, he can call me Carl Lewis. In all seriousness, Walt, thank you for what you have done for all the students, athletes like me, and the ones that come in the future. Enjoy this day, take it all in, go blue.
We got some great alums, I'll leave it at that. In honor of Walt, we've created a short video today. I don't know if the music matches the bass of the tailgate, but we'll give it a go. We'll start our video here in honor of Walt Abbott. Serge?
When anyone thinks of the University of Maine, the name Walt Abbott is someone that comes to your mind right away. Walt is a great role model for me being here. Walt was here for so long in a lot of different capacities and, just cared about this university so much.
I've known Walt Abbott since I was a player here, and just knowing him and the name, when I was a student athlete here, he was still teaching here. Some of my teammates would have him in class. I actually had him in my racquetball class, so he taught me to play racquetball. So that was always neat having him there and knowing that, hey, this is the man who played here, coached here, became the head coach here, worked as the athletic director. So just a lot of respect for him, and it was really neat to have him in that role.
I think that just like the roles that he's played like as a coach, obviously the impact that he's had on so many of those student athletes that played for him. And I know like any events that I've gone to through like the Hall of Fame induction dinners or things like that, that can just see the experiences that his players have had with him, like how meaningful and how much of a bond those players had, and obviously it has a lot to do with him.
I would be waiting outside of his office, and I was always struck by the number of students waiting as well to see Walt. And they weren't football players, and most of them weren't student athletes. They were regular students on campus that had heard that you could go see Walt and he would listen, he would give you advice, he would go to bat for you and point you in the right direction. The university owes him a great deal of gratitude, and the state of Maine owes him a great deal of gratitude for how many lives he's impacted.
To me, Walt is the University of Maine. He's a pillar and he's the foundation of this institution in my time here. He's someone that has a heart of gold and created an environment in KPE and for his students that it was a really a family first. Walt was actually the very first person that I met on campus during my recruiting visit. One of the coldest weekends that I've ever experienced. I almost didn't come to Maine because it was so cold that weekend. And I remember walking into Walt's office and he asked me if I was cold. And I kind of looked at him and he called me, he said, "Son, let me tell you something. There's two types of weather here in Maine. There's t-shirt weather and there's two t-shirt weather." And he said, "Today's two t-shirt weather." And I looked at him and I just was like, where am I? But it was classic Walt in my first interaction with him. And by the end of our meeting, I was like, man, this is the place for me.
I think Walt really embodies what it means to be a Black Bear. He has given his life to the university, but not only in his service, but also just in how he acts. He is so kind, he's funny, he's hardworking, he's gritty, he's tough, and he just understands what it means to help your neighbor and love each other. And the biggest thing at Maine is a hearty Maine hello. Walt always greets everyone with a smile, treats everybody, no matter who you are or where you're from, with the same respect, and that's really what it means to be a Black Bear.
What a great video, a great career, and an even greater man. When I first came here as a student in 1995, I grew up in Farmington, and I had heard about this guy on campus. The people were talking about him. Have you heard about this guy? He paddled the Allagash waterway in less than 24 hours. Now, for us Mainers, that's not even human. He climbed Mount Katahdin in the winter and skied down. He wrestled white-tailed deer with his bare hands. True story. And he's ridden a moose in the wild. I didn't take Walt's amazing outdoor leadership class. I was probably a little too cocky as a kid that grew up in the woods and waters of Maine that I knew how to paddle. I wasn't worried about getting lost. But it's one of the biggest academic regrets of my life. Not just because I didn't get a chance to spend that time with Walt, but see a bunch of New Jersey guys lost in the Maine woods while I chopped. And I said to this kid, I said, "I have heard of this guy in the Bangor region. His name's Paul Bunyan." He said, "No, sir, it's Walt Abbott." There are a gazillion of those stories from Walt. He's truly a special guy. And I think Gene said it best, and Carl, it's almost embarrassing for us to be the three people to talk about Walt as a mentor when there were literally thousands of people out there. So we're just representing the masses. He's been an incredible mentor to so many, me included. And I really didn't know Walt when I was a student here because I didn't go to his class. But I really got to know Walt over the last 15 years. He's been an incredible mentor of mine. A lot of long rides home after tough days, a lot of time away from your family, a lot of things that make these jobs really fun but really hard. Walt was always one of my first calls. And we'd talk about everything. And he just was always there. And the way that you can sum up a conversation with Walt, those that have had it, is that somehow throughout that conversation, good, bad, whatever was happening, every time you got off the phone with Walt, you just felt a little bit better. You just felt a little bit better. And that's a real special trait, Walt, that I don't think you appreciate. And he always had a way of delivering short, special messages. Sometimes they didn't hit you for a couple days. So I tried to think of one, because I've had a lot of them. And one day I was talking to either Steve or Scott, one of his sons, about Walt's canoeing expertise and the whitewater, class 4 rapids, just chaos. And somehow it came up that Walt couldn't swim. And there's no way on earth. Like, Walt climbs mountains in his bare feet. He kills animals with his bare hands. Like, Walt's got to be able to swim. So I called Walt. I had to figure it out. So I called Walt. We got talking. I said, Walt, I got to ask you. Like, you can't swim? Not a lick. I still didn't believe him. And we went and talked about main sports and the entire field hockey roster. Half I didn't know at the time. And I got back to it. I said, Walt, I'm serious. Like, you can't swim. Are you joking right now? He's like, I can't swim. I said, Walt, what are you thinking when you're on the Allagash waterways in Class 4 rapids in a tiny boat that can tip over at any minute, and you can't swim? And he paused in that dramatic Walt fashion, and he said, don't fall out of the canoe. Well, I took a little bit, but about a month later, I'm laying in bed thinking about just all that comes with life, you know, work and all the things you're stressed about. We've all been there. And your mind's going 100 miles an hour and you can't sleep. And it hit me. Like, Walt's advice hit me a month later. Like, just don't fall out of the canoe. You know, you're gonna get to calm waters. You just gotta stay in the canoe. So he's a special way of delivering those messages, especially for a Maine kid like me. But I'll leave the remarks for me today with one last question. Walt, I have really been thinking about this. What does happen if you do fall out of the canoe? Like, you won't answer that. Well, we're done with us today, but I want to have the utmost privilege and honor for me, personally and professionally, to represent the thousands of people he's mentored, all the people that care about him. This took a little arm pulling too, but I want to bring up Walt Abbott, one of our all-time great Black Bears. Walt.
You're taller than I am.
You thought practice in the cold weather or hard days were tough. This is a lot tougher being up here than any other day. I'm very honored my family could be here, and thank all you people for attending and helping in this situation. Seth, there's no way to express what you do for the university. I've never seen a man that brought more success to our programs than Seth. I want to congratulate him on that. And you people may not realize it, but you had two of the greatest athletes ever to be at Maine speak. Gene Benner and Carl Smith. Now, I have spots in my heart for them. I remember Carl, his first game, he was going to play was against UMass, and they were the team of the league. They were the crown. 212 yards. Gene Benner, I go into the training room one afternoon on a Friday. Wes Jordan, the trainer, says, Benner can't play tomorrow. I says, what? He's got a bad leg. Oh boy, what a night I had worrying about that. The next day we're on the field getting in the training room, and who comes in with his gear on? Benner. I said, why are you going? He said, I'm going to play. I said, Wes said you can't. He said, watch. First pass was a 10-yard square out from Dave Wing that he ran 60 yards on. I walked down the line out on the field. I found Wes Jordan. I said, great job, trainer. Many years ago, in 1954, I started here at the university, and it's been a lifelong love. One of the things that you're looking at is this new facility here. Well, back when I got here, the facilities weren't that good. The facilities for strength and condition working out was Carol Abbott's and Walter Abbott's garage down in Orono. Many nights we'd look out in the yard and see 15 to 20 kids working out, lifting weights, jumping rope, pulling extra JDs. And that's where we started from. And now you've got the state of the art coming in. And that's critical. It's going to be a big asset to our coaches in recruiting. More importantly, it's going to give these young athletes in Division I competition a chance to improve to the ski level that they have the capable of doing. So I want to say that from all of those people to those that generated the help today, they say thank you. And this is not a 2-week supply. 30 years they're going to be in that facility working out in it. Still, all the athletes that come to Maine, it's going to be wonderful. Who knows what's going to happen down the future? I know one thing. Maine is going to be Maine. What a great place to go to school. What a great place to have your parents and your sons or your grandsons or your granddaughters go to school. It's a wonderful situation here, and we want to keep it that way forever. But in closing, I'd like to say thank you. I'm very honored, and I'm very proud to have my name on that facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt, for choosing the University of Maine. Thank you, Walt, for representing the University of Maine the way you have for so many years. And thank you, Walt, most of all, just for being Walt. I told Walt it'd be 10 minutes today. That was another lie I had. I knew we could get it to 30, but I knew 10 was a stretch. But that's humane 10 minutes for you, Walt. So everybody enjoy homecoming weekend, and let's go win a football game.